Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to make something out of strange bricks. So I've scattered a few bricks down here in no particular pattern whatsoever. Oh, kind of looks like an elephant. There you go, I built something in bricks. There you go, that's it. Good enough for the day. No, I'm going to take these guys here. I'm going to start moving them up. This is an individual unit of strange brick. It's one little square. You get these when you're doing the loot. So anything that gives you loot, it could be in the water, could be when you're fighting bandits and you get a little treasure chest, could be when you're picking up the purple treasure chests in the bandit cave. Basically anywhere that you might pick up a piece of loot. Treasure maps, there's another one. It can be pushed or pulled, and it can have a message on touch. So just like a box, basically, you can enable being pushed or pulled. That will allow you to shove them around as a player. This has problems. It's not a perfect system, but you can push it here and there and pull here and there. Used to be a lot worse. You could push them over walls and go off into the darkness on the outside of levels and stuff. Now it's a little bit more sensible, but still, push and pull, I avoid using it unless it's a very, very specific situation where I would want to incorporate it. There's a lot of safety that you have to consider when you're building something that has push and pull. People can get stuck in walls, they can get trapped, it can remove access to certain locations, and I mean that's great if that's what you want, but thinking about all the ways that you can manipulate that in the system is going to be a lot of effort. Okay, so there's my one single brick. The bricks on their own, they're not too exciting, it's just like a box, but as soon as you get another one, so basically if you have two or more, you can do all kinds of interesting stuff with it. So they stack. I'm going to put this brick right in the same location. Like if I put it horizontally, it's going to appear on the side. If I put it overlapping with the initial brick, it's going to stack vertically. Okay. The next part of that is if I take this one out, the initial first brick is not going to suddenly go on the ground. It's actually going to remain in place. So if I can keep it on top of this other one, then this one is also going to stack. So we're going to have it stack. There's a shadow underneath it, and it goes up to the top above that first brick, and we can continue up into the sky as far as we want to go. Basically, you can make it have a shadow underneath that brick, and if we get up a little higher, you can see that these are actually occupying a space that's not visually it's a removed space now. It's got a shadow underneath and there's these bricks up top, and if I walk in behind these bricks you can actually see that there I am. I'm in behind the bricks and I'm walking back and forth like that, right? So I can create a visual illusion very easily with the bricks. You can create things that look like a full brick wall and then have a secret entry point. That's especially true if you block up the visual appearance of the shadow below the bricks. So if I go in here, I'm going to grab a hedge. I'll just use a regular old hedge. I could use a small hedge or retro or any other object. Anything that's on 0 layer, you're going to have some conflict with the shadow. So if I put this to 0 and then I'm putting this guy above or behind the shadow, like if it's not going to get, see it's on 0 layer, and if this would appear behind that object, like behind that shadow, it would basically have that shadow appear on top of this bush. So you can see that the bush has the shadow on top of it. If I make this bush layer 1, this shadow is effectively layer 0. So if I make this bush layer 1, I can hide it quite easily. So now this appears to be a bush, and the hedge is kind of sitting there just normally, and these two bricks sitting on the floor is what it appears to be, but lo and behold, I can walk behind them. So you can see pretty quickly where this will go. If I want to create a secret passage, or if I want to create some depth. The other way that I can use this is I can take this guy to layer 2, and I can put it in front of the bricks. And now, instead of having it cover the hedge, I'm covering the bush. I'm sorry, I'm covering the bricks with the bush, and I can create a shadow underneath. So if I were to make an object, or if I want to stack a few more bricks on here, I can, and if I stack a few more bricks, then what's going to happen is I'm going to wind up with the hedge looking like it's floating in midair, right? And it's got a shadow underneath it. Just to give you an idea, I want to get this up here. I'm going to take this guy over to the left one, and I'm going to throw another brick. This is kind of the difficult part, is manipulating these guys in accordance with what you want it to do. And with a little bit of practice, it becomes second nature. At the beginning, it's a little bit tricky. There's kind of some confusion maybe that you might run into. Basically, you gotta practice with these guys quite a bit to get to a point where you're very comfortable in building very complex structures. I will build something a little complex in a minute here. So yeah, basically, if I keep these guys up on the side here, it's actually going to cause a problem. But you can see where that's going to go. That you'd have a shadow underneath. If you can remove your bricks down one, you can actually look like this. And maybe I can take this guy out and bring him down here. Oh, for some reason that's not working. There we go. A little bit of lag there. So if I bring this guy over one, and I'm going to remove this other brick, then you can see that shadow in there very nicely. And on top of that, I can walk behind the bush just like there was nothing wrong. There's no bricks in there whatsoever, even though both you and I know that if I click on this guy and take this away, there's a full line of bricks underneath there. Okay, so that's some of the uses. This is at layer 2 again. These bricks are effectively at layer 1, but they do some very peculiar things. They are very strange bricks, after all. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the hedge, and I'm going to get over here, and we're going to start building something. Let's make it say my name. Okay, so I'm going to start here, and I'm going to build. There's kind of ways that you can cheat. This is going to be the extended way. I will do this properly and make it think twice about how I'm working on it. There might be some cheat, just to make it easy. Okay, so it's habit to flip these guys out and use it in such a way where I'm placing them one at a time. Actually, I'm going to take this one higher. So pulling these bricks from this stack over here is actually just for the purpose of the video. Normally I would use the duplicate feature. It's very handy when you're dealing with the bricks, especially when you have so many. You have to mine these with loot. That's the only real way to get these in your hand. I have done just terrible amounts of looting. So it's something that I have a lot of. I would have had probably twice as many, but I actually stopped collecting these for a while. I stopped at about 100, and I was thinking that 100 was a nice round number, but then it turned out that I wanted more than 100, and there was some building stuff that I was doing where I realized that, having 200 or 300 would be really cool. Being able to fill a whole level with just bricks would be awesome. You could make something really cool that way with like mazes and stuff. Okay. So this is going to be pretty simple. I'm going to use this to make 4 lom here. And you can see what I'm doing is I'm just stacking these up. You get a little bit creative with your positioning. There's a certain pattern that you want to follow when you're doing the laying of these bricks. You can kind of see where I'm going with that in this build. However, it might not be readily apparent. I'm probably making it look pretty easy. So there's a few things that you have to remember when you're building with this. One is that as you go along, you're going to have to maintain keep an eye on your bricks, see how many that you have left. I know that I've got over 100 right now, so it's actually pretty simple for me. That's interesting. I've got a really dark shadow right there because I've got 3 standing on top of each other. That's fun. Okay. So the L is probably the easiest one. I'll just stack a whole bunch on top of each other. And I'm going to leave one space between, or like a same unit as this square here, this square brick. I'm going to leave one square between each of the letters. And I could easily just do this. Right, this is actually the shortcut. But what I'm going to do here is I will put in a secret passageway so you can actually get through here. Okay, and we'll make it the same height. So it's a 5 tall. Same with the L. Sorry, the L is the same as the 4. Okay, and I'm going to take one of these guys here. Oh, and delete it apparently. Okay, I'll give one more on the side there. These have a lot of application, the strange bricks with the other furniture materials too. So I'm using strictly bricks with bricks right now, but if you were getting really complicated, like if you're going into depth with these, there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do that's kind of outside of the normal realm of building. So like for instance, you could set up shadows and other effects with the bricks. Like you can make it look like the bricks are attached to each other, or like there's steps or banisters or all kinds of cool stuff. It's very effective that way. I think I messed this up. Yeah, because these should be the same as these guys here. We should have the same layer. Okay, so that means I have to take this guy and put him in the middle. And this means that I'm going to mess up my other pieces. So this guy's going to have to be a cheat. I don't like it. No, that's not good enough. Okay, that's looking a little bit better. Other stuff that you can do is make it appear as though there are no ways through a specific location, and then have the brick actually, the shadow of the brick or the brick itself can be used in such a way where you've got like a blocking passage or an open passage. Especially when you start getting into light effects, the shadows are pretty super effective when you're trying to create different effects there. So I'm going to keep this brick at the top. This guy here is going to come over here, have another shadow just like his buddy. Oh. Nope, not like that. Keep him over here. And see, this one's got that same dark shadow going on. If I wanted to be really specific, I could probably cheat and make a dark shadow on the first one too, on the second one. On this guy here, if I brought the shadow bricks up higher, I could actually put them outside of the screen if I wanted to. Just by stacking them higher and higher and higher. Okay, so I'm actually going to grab one of these guys and put him over here. Perfect. This is going to grab the top one, which I want to keep up to the side. Take this guy up Looking good. There's my O. And this is just off the top of my head. If you get into some more detailed concept, you can do a lot more with these guys. This is just an idea that I had at a spur of the moment that I was going to make my name. You can see I'm going to walk behind these guys. This one's got that secret passage kind of an effect where you can see that if I were to walk up here, it's going to block my character. And it's impossible to see it, right? You can see it only when you walk into it and you walk through it. Even if I'm trying to walk past up here, there's only just the slightest of notification whether there's a bump at all. So if you know where it is, you can get through. This one again, I can walk right behind these guys. This one's at the top, and that'll block my movement, but the other ones will not. Okay, and we'll do one M. M is again pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So I'm going to keep a single brick here. I'm going to walk them up the same way. This guy's going to go to the same location. Use an M hotkey there to speed it up a little bit. I'm going to bring another one of these guys up there. So you might see that I toggled the editor view, that little magnifying glass at the bottom of the screen there. I had made the mistake of turning it on. I don't use it. It's not effective in the building that I want to do. Namely because I don't have control. And that's a personal choice. That's like I am not comfortable using the editor window. So I don't, make an effort to include it in my builds. It does have probably a little bit more freedom when it comes to moving stuff around, but my problem with it is that there's no way to control where the objects are landing from your inventory. So if I use the normal view, I can walk over to a location and I can place an object because I know where it's going to land when my character kind of spits it out from the inventory. It's going to go directly in front of him, and then based on his orientation, it'll show up in a specific area. If I use the editor view, it shows up at the very center point, like the XY center of the screen. And I'm not really familiar with where that's going to be on screen. And then if I'm, zoomed to the wrong location, or if there's something that's already placed there, then it becomes problematic. There's just so many things that can happen where it just, it messes the whole thing up. So I don't like to use it. It's much more control in placing your objects with the basic simple view. However, in some scenarios, fine-tuning, you could probably do a little bit better in the editor view. There's some stuff that I might switch over to editor to use specifically, like, for instance, if you have a screen that you're working on, and if you've built up to the very corner of the screen or somewhere where there's buttons involved, like if you're going to be building something that comes up underneath these buttons or into the UI somewhere, then it becomes advantageous to use the editor window, because you can zoom it around very quickly and you can use a specific location without having the buttons there. And in fact, if you approach the buttons even in editor view, the buttons move out of the way for you. That's not the same in the base view. In the normal one, it doesn't do that. So there are reasons to use it, but I'm an old guy playing this game, and I'm just used to the way that I started. So I'm probably by force of habit limiting my own ability, but I like it how it is, and it's not broken. So why fix it? Okay, so I've got a few more of these guys I need to place, and I'm almost done. I've got my M shaping up here. Oh, no, not like that, guys. Ah, everything's happening at once. I hit my D button. Get out of there, dude. What are you doing? What are you doing triggering stuff? Okay, so I'm going to need these guys in here too. And it looks like I'm almost there, but I need 2 or 3 more bricks. Okay, so this guy I'm going to move up. One more. And I think you know what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cheat and place this one right here. Save about 4 seconds. Okay, cool. So there it is. My shadows aren't perfect, but I think that's just the way that it goes. I could probably put a little bush or a hedge or a box or something in there. I wanted to be able to reach this staircase as well. So I can reach the staircase. I can walk through the sides here. It would look really cool if this was on a different background, I think. As it is, the colors are kind of the same and it's very drab and boring. But you get a pretty good idea of how to use this. I think I've done pretty much all the different ways that we can use these bricks. So yeah, show me what you got for bricks, guys. I'd like to see some other people's designs and some builds. You know, even with a few, you can do a lot of cool stuff. You can make some shadow effects and secret doors and things like that. Even if you have like 2 or 3 bricks, you know, you can still pull them out and make into something cool. Okay, so that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it's helpful to you. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you next time.